Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today we will be learning once again what is calculation all about. So in this position, what we can definitely say is that there are a couple of weak signals in black's position. First of all, I have some unresolved tension on the B file. The D7 pawn looks a little bit effy, it's isolated. I might have an open file for the rook. Otherwise, I see that the king is not protected by its own pawns. So there are a lot of weak signals in this position. So the very first line that I started checking was just a capture on b6, and I realized, yeah, but he just captures back. I'm not really sure about that anymore. So I started checking. What if I go rook d1, which is attacking the pawn on d7, which is going to threaten everything. So rook d1, let's go check the forcing moves for black. First of all, if he defends the pawn, since it's the main target that I have with a move like knight to f8, then I'm not really sure about the effectiveness of this way of attack, this way of defending. Um, Maybe I can just play something like queen to g4 check. If he moves back, then I have rook d7. So I guess rook d1, knight f8, queen g4, he has to go king g7. But then, I have bishop c4 check. If the king goes along the f file, then already it just feels a little bit odd. It really feels like it's very hard to say. I just have a lot of force moves on the board. If I capture, this is now a little bit the thing. The position just get complex and complex every single time you look at that. What to do? Stay compact to what makes sense. What do I mean by that? We have a clear target, at least in our mind. And this is the main idea that I want to be relying on. So I have to go for forcing moves around the weak signal. Notice that I started calculating rook d1, knight f8, queen g4 check. I started to, disperse myself. I started looking at the king, at the pawn, and everything. But if we take a closer look, what is actually happening here? I go rook d1, he goes knight f8. How do I apply more pressure against this pawn? This is the real question. I have c6. I'm threatening the pawn. Now if you go d5, I just capture it. So what if I go rook d1, knight f8, this, and you go d6? And this is where things become interesting. I still have this. You move back along the f file. I go bishop c4. You go that way. Now I have queen e6. Now I'm basically threatening check. The problem is that the knight is there. So once again, there is simply nothing. So I'm just asking myself the question, all right, but wait, if I just go that way, he defends. I surely have something with all those forcing moves left on the board. This is now where things become super funny once again. Maybe, but I still have to make a decision. So maybe I have queen g4 first, which is threatening f5. Maybe I have rook d1. Maybe should start with this move. Maybe I should just capture. Maybe I should even start with c6 first, which is maybe threatening to do something. I will show you. If I go rook to d1, okay. Oh no, the engine played. Ah, okay. This was actually very interesting now. But okay, now I think I can just win. Okay, not even checking that. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, if not a fate, but what's happening right now is the following. There is a lot of unresolved tension in this position. So not the queen, but basically those two pieces. If I capture, he just captures back and there is nothing, right? But the bishop doesn't have a lot of squares available. So I'm thinking about, okay, what if I go g4 and g5? Nah, not really. A little bit effy. But then what if I give a check and you go king f7, and now I give you a check and you go king e7? What is happening right now with the bishop again? The bishop is still a little bit effy. Yes and no. If I go queen f5, it's still not getting attacked. So the line itself is extremely how should I word it now? I will show you. It's just very funny. So right now, I think you will see what the engine will show you. If not, actually, I don't have connection, so it's actually even funnier. If I just go, I really want you to show the line. It's very funny. Basically, this is fully protected. Now, if I go c6, he goes d6, but then I have this. Now I don't have queen e6. First of all, second of all, why does he have to actually move the pawn? Am I really threatening something? Just notice that it's getting harder and harder and harder every single time you look at this position. If I go queen g4, you go that way. Maybe I can play f5. Maybe I can play bishop c4. Once again, this position is uncommonly hard. This, I go that way. What is the next step of the operation? I'm in a so-called no man's land, we can call it that way, where the king is simply weak and I can just start building up pressure. Something like bishop d4, rook e1, and slowly but surely there should be something. Let me just refresh the page. It's actually a very funny position. So this, and that. Hold on. Yeah. Here, if you go knight f8 instead, queen g4, king f7, bishop c4, king e7. Like I mentioned, it's some sort of a no man's land. This is just okay. I mean, what I mean by showing you this, I just want to show you what the engine evaluation shows, because this engine evaluation is just extremely funny. So crazy line. So I will put transition. Hopefully you can see absolutely everything. Yes, normally you can. Okay. So wait, I will just put it that way. So now you see everything. Here what's funny is that you see I can win in many different ways. But once again, how to win in those positions? Just trust what you have on the board. The king is weak. There is a weak signal, some tensions. Here the best way of fighting would be rook d6 according to the engine. Why? Because I'm actively threatening to, let's say you do nothing, capture. And if you capture, I have queen g5, which is mate. And this is super hard. But the next time you will have something comparable to that, you will find that. Or maybe not. Who knows? But what matters is that you just keep repeating those lines. Because every single time you miss them, you are actually getting stronger. And it's very sad for me to finish the course on this type of puzzle where it really relies on the experience itself rather than really calculation skills. Because no matter how much calculation skills you have, if you do not, you know, daily train your calculation, if you do not daily play games, if you're not actively thinking about your, mistakes, it doesn't matter that you really want to get better at chess and you're doing the right things. Because part of the right things is basically thinking actively about what you missed. This is basically what chess is all about. If there's anything unclear, just send me a message, as always. Hopefully see you in the future. Take care. Thank you very much.